anything you have in mind when you join this session?
To be honest, I am just trying to find the purpose. What is this soul's purpose in this world, in this lifetime? So there's a lot of questions that running through me, and I'm still figuring it out. What is my part? And yeah, so I'm just trying to join whichever classes that I can, just to find some answers or guidelines. How should this part go moving forward? Yeah.
Right. So source purpose is a very valid question that many of my clients come to me with. I'm not saying that they must come to me for a session. It is something that is multifold. So since we are talking about soul's purpose, it also ties in with the concept of being in alignment ourselves. Because when we are in alignment within, then we know that at that moment, what is it that we truly want to achieve? And we'll be able to work towards that, knowing that we are supported. It's not as if we are walking towards a mountain and banging our head against the wall, a lot of resistances. So when we are in misalignment, that's what happens. We face a lot of obstacles and resistances along the way. We feel that this is an uphill struggle. We are heading nowhere. So, and then the concept of soul's purpose, there's just so many parts to it. First, the masters always let me know that it is not defined by one soul's purpose for every soul. So, many times we go to a reader or a healer expecting the answer to be one answer, that, okay, Nandini, you're here to serve, to guide others on the spiritual path. Say, for example, you're here to illuminate others on the path. Sure, that could be one purpose at that moment, okay, or a long-term purpose, but along the way, you are a multifaceted divine being in a human body. You have so many talents that you have accumulated in various lifetimes. And you have so many things that your soul wants to achieve in this lifetime. So soul's purpose, sometimes the misconception is that there is only one purpose. The truth is there are many purposes lined up for the soul, and the soul is empowered to choose, whether consciously or unconsciously, the several purposes that they want to focus on. And the thing about going to a reader is that at that point, based on your current energies, what is that one defining purpose that might be what you're looking for? And the other part to it is also self-empowerment. Not forgetting that we are divine beings in a human body. We are very much creators of the reality we hold. And therefore, we play a crucial role and part also in shaping our purposes. Sometimes it's not just about what other people tell us our purpose should be at that moment. But even after they told us, we have that wisdom, that intelligence to decide whether that is what we want, or perhaps we can shape something else for ourselves. We can take some actions to perhaps clear away some density, some karma, some limiting beliefs, and then open up another pathway that we truly want. So there's so much to this amazing question. And indeed, when we are in alignment, which is actually ties in nicely with today's session, why is it so important to be in alignment? What exactly does it mean in a very layman manner? Okay. When we are in alignment, I will share a personal example later. Good things get drawn to us. We have increased clarity of mind because of that increased balance within us, the peace that comes with more clarity and therefore more wisdom. Okay, on all these things that we want to achieve, could achieve, what is the truth, what is not the truth, and so on and so forth. So it helps us a lot in this journey, especially in this time and age when we are bombarded with so much misinformation everywhere. It can sometimes be very difficult. Even say back to the topic of soul's purpose, if we Google, then we get inundated with all kinds of online articles.
Yeah.
How do we know what's the truth? How do we know what's not the truth? It gets very, very confusing. So I would like to share this example of alignment of my own personal journey just last year. Because last year I was actually still staying with my parents' home, looking for a place, my first property to buy, to stay in Singapore. So what happened was, at that point in time, I just desperately wanted to move out. I don't really know what exactly I want. What property, what's the price, what's the feature, what's the criteria. And then I started searching like a blind, person. I don't really know what's going on. And of course, along the way, I faced a lot of, it got very tiring for me. I was looking at almost around 10 properties already. It just looked like a complete misalignment. Where I go, even if the pictures look very nice, when I reach there, it's horrible, it's unlivable, or even if it looks minimally nice, when I try to offer, it's always a no-go because there will be a high ball and then the negotiations all fail. And I got so tired. The worst is my friends telling me that, oh, the other friend, she looked at 100 properties before she finally bought. Like, wow, that's really amazing. But do I want to be like that? No. Yeah. So it got to a point where I was really, really exhausted. I could have like in 1 week, packed with so many property viewings, it got very confusing for me. And I felt like the universe is not supporting me. Like, seriously, I'm just looking for a property to stay in, to anchor in the energies, to do my spiritual work. But why is it that I'm facing so much resistance? So then I had the good fortune of meeting a mentor, and she just gently pointed out to me that, Asha, at this point, your energies are in complete misalignment. That is why you are heading nowhere, and that is why you have all these resistances coming up. Because you can't, when your inner world is so chaotic, there's no way you can draw the right things to you. So the advice given to me was just don't do anything. Don't go for any more property viewings for that whole 1 week. Just take back your energies and go back to yourself. So I took that very seriously. I cut off all the property viewings. I cut off all the temptations of, scrolling on the property websites to look at more listings, the fear of missing out, the fear of not being good enough, blah, blah, blah. I cut all of that out. For that whole 1 week, all I did was to tune in to myself, my energies, feel into my body, my emotions, my mind, just trying to work towards a peaceful state through my daily meditation practice. And also cutting away all the clutter, all those unnecessary distractions, baggage, and misinformation everywhere, which my world is so chaotic, I can't even determine what's the truth, what's not the truth. what's right, what's not right. For that whole 1 week, I just sat with my own energies. I kind of disconnected from most of the world, didn't look at social media, didn't look at the news, everything cut off. At the end of 1 week, when I checked back all these updates, there were 3 property listings that came to my attention that fulfilled the criteria. So during this 1 week, I also spent some time writing down what is it that I want to achieve. So for example, the soul's purpose, what is it that I want to achieve in this lifetime? So for the property, what are the criteria that I am looking for? The must-haves, the good-to-haves. Okay, so I wrote that down and then I put it aside. So with the 3 properties in mind, I just sat in meditation, got into a peaceful state myself, and then tuned into each one, just feeling into myself connecting with each property. And then the answer was very clear to me at that point. Go for the second property viewing only. The first and the third, forget it. That's not yours. Okay, so I got this information. I'm still not very sure. Okay, so I just went ahead. Okay, just book an appointment and all. And then it turned out to be the most amazing decision, because right now, as you see, I am at the home of that second property view. So what just happened was the stars were so magically aligned, my eyes almost dropped out, because after sustaining so much defeats and bruises along the property viewing journey, I never imagined that good things can ever come my way. It was first, the owner was urgently trying to sell the property. She was relocating overseas. Second, the property was just recently furbished, renovated to make it more appealing. And then the third thing was that the agents were also desperately trying to sell. So then instead of jacking up the prices, they were actually teaching me how to negotiate down what is the first offer price, what is the second offer price. And then along the way, there were so many kind souls that came last minute to help me, because the transaction was done so urgently. The stars were simply aligned, and I got a really, really good deal. It is just unimaginable. So I wanted to share this to illustrate real life example of the power of being in alignment. So in this topic, we say inner and outer alignment.
Yeah.
So what is the focus? The focus for us is to get into inner alignment. Because the inner alignment happens, then it clicks. The outer alignment, the outer energies will match our inner energies. There will be a vibrational match such that the outer world will reflect our inner world. Okay? At this point, I just note that it doesn't mean as we get into alignment, it doesn't mean we won't meet difficult people or situations. In fact, they are so prevalent in our society, workplace, and life. We will see them and continue to see them everywhere. But it's just that when they are not in a vibrational match with us, they either don't annoy us as much or kind of don't really intrude into our pathways, and vice versa. We kind of like become distant from them somehow energetically and physically. And even when they come close to us, they don't annoy us, because we then have that higher clarity, that higher wisdom to see their lesson in life as well as our lesson in life. Through that higher perspective, it illuminates our mind and then takes away those lower personality feelings of anger, resentment, feeling disempowered, stuck, depressed, and all kinds of things. In fact, Then even when we experience these denser feelings, like for example anger, it becomes a motivational force for us when we are in alignment. What can I do to change this reality that I'm seeing now? I don't like this. What can I do to help myself? So we take back the powers and decide what we can do to help ourselves.
Mm.
And being in alignment is actually so important in this spiritual path and just about anyone in this world. We have always been taught, manifest things in life, like, wait for new moon, then set the goals, and then manifest, write this, write that to the universe, and then that will happen. But why is it such an uphill struggle? We have to do so much things. And then most of the time, it also doesn't come back to us. The power of alignment is that when we are aligned, it's like my property example. The property comes to me. Of course, I have to have the basic connections to be able to draw in these things, but the property comes in. And then even though there's A and C there as well, but when in alignment, I know that B is mine, not A and C. So I won't waste my time on A and C. So being in alignment helps us so much. And in very layman terms, what does inner alignment, how can we achieve that inner alignment? Inner alignment in layman terms also mean inner balance or harmony. How can we achieve that? We need to learn to consciously slow down in our daily lives and then feel into our body, our mind, and emotions as much as we can throughout the day. And the other layer of that is also to declutter. Declutter, remove those things that no longer serve us from our body, from our mind, from all the gadgets that we have, and from the physical space that we live in. So talking about consciously slowing down and then checking in on our mind, body, emotions, there's no way that we can escape from building a consistent daily practice for ourselves. So consistent daily practice, what does it mean? It can mean a lot of things. Most of us rely on meditation. Why? Because meditation is an opportunity for us to get moments of stillness, clear away the clutter, and really to feel into our own energies. It is only when we feel into our own energies and become so familiar with it that we know the difference between our energies and other people's energies flowing into us. So that at the end of the day, we know, okay, what I'm feeling now is actually not mine. It's not my emotions. But because of the stress out workplace, or the depressed people that I was hanging around with, all these things I've unconsciously taken on from them, then I need to release. And that's it. Having this daily meditation practice, if we try to do it, that's not the only way. I'll share more ways, but this is the most common way. What do we really want to do? Meditation, sometimes they make it sound so difficult, like we're supposed to empty our mind and sit in the void kind of feeling. But in reality, meditation is just to focus our mind on this one object of attention. It could mean a lot of things. We can get very creative and very flexible, because as we try out different meditation experiences, we will tend to form our personal favorites, so we can experiment with them. It can start with very simple things. For example, if we have a very tiring, exhausting day, we can try focusing on the sensations of our breathing, just gently watching how it feels like as the air enters the nostril and exits the nostril. We can feel into our heart space. Sometimes, for me particularly, I like to feel into the heart because I tend to feel a lot of density. I tend to take on a lot of things from others like a sponge. So then I feel into how my heart is feeling and then gently sending it love to release the density within. Or we can also feel into our mind, just watching our mind. That's also very useful, especially like for me, sometimes I have a very busy mind. Then my whole meditation practice will just be watching the mind, just gently observing, but not being caught up with what's going on. And then meditation, sometimes the problem I also observe is that I do see quite a number of people, they try to meditate every day. But why is it they still remain in misalignment? So, okay, meditation can also involve guided meditations. Then the focus of meditation will then be my voice, the meditators, the facilitator's voice. So back to the point of, why sometimes we see people or we ourselves, we meditate every day. But why is it that we are still in misalignment? How do we know we are in misalignment? We seem to have this fog around us. Our mind seems not clear. Difficult for us to feel calm and peaceful. It's just a very chaotic world. And we don't know why. We've been meditating every day. What's wrong? The common problem in these cases, then we have to observe, how do we go about the process of meditation? Because what happens is that sometimes we meditate, but we rush into the meditation, we rush out of the meditation, we rush through the meditation. The whole thing becomes like a race, a sprint, a competition. Then we start and end the meditation feeling like, okay, I need to do the meditation now. I go into it. Okay, I have 15 minutes, so I set a timer. Okay, 15 minutes down, okay, out, and then we quickly exit and get back to our lives. That's actually very difficult to then help to anchor in that gentleness, that stillness, energies that we want to feel. So the thing is really for meditation to really learn to set aside sufficient time. If we need more control over our time or we are new to meditation, I highly recommend listening to any guided Akashic Records meditation that you feel drawn to. Because first, then you can see the time for yourself, you can set aside the time. Second, the Akashic Records energies help to bring us to a deeper state of peace and stillness within. So what we cannot achieve with our physical body, sometimes we need an energy boost. So that happens when we sit in the energies of the Akashic Records. Because in reality, what happens is the team of our divine beings from the fifth dimension and above. When we access our Akashic Records via meditation, they stand around each of us, they hold us in their energies. So then we are able to focus a little better, a little deeper into that meditation and make that whole experience more fruitful and productive for us. So then, back to the point of if we can't seem to get into alignment despite having a meditation practice, the question for ourselves is consider how are we doing that process of meditation, and then are we taking the time to gently settle ourselves into meditation, preparing the space, feeling comfortable, checking in with our breath, slowly warming up and going into meditation. Are we taking the time to really enjoy the meditation and taking the time to gently exit the meditation? That means after the meditation, perhaps you want to send blessings to everyone. We just want some quiet time for ourselves, maybe 5 minutes before get up and go about the day. Yeah, things like that. So besides meditation, are there other practices that we can help to get us into alignment? Yes, a lot. It depends on our preferences. Sometimes I dabble around with different things. Like for me, for example, energy healing modalities work as well. Being in the energies of the Akashic records could be one. Energy healing modalities that you have the affinity to learn. If you feel that it helps you, you can have a self-healing and then just sitting in silence with the energy healing modality and then just allowing the energy to flow. The other way is chanting. Sometimes people like to chant. We see religious monks, nuns, they chant because that repetition is something for their mind to work on. Their mind focus on that repetition, and in that sense, it becomes an object for meditation. And of course, the words itself, depending on our choice, sometimes it might be encoded with intelligence, with light codes, and that's another story. Besides that, we can also do like pranayama, yoga. Yoga, I mean, like really taking the time, our own practice, feeling into our own body, our own energies. So these are things, or even say mindful walking in nature. So another part of the getting into alignment that I feel is very important is when we have all these tools with us, having this, trying to establish this daily practice, it's important for us to try to be very creative and flexible with ourselves. Not to be so hard with ourselves that, oh, die, you must do this 60 minutes meditation per day, this guided meditation, just this one, and then repeat, repeat, repeat. Wow, it's good to repeat, sure, but then being overly rigid might backfire for us, because sometimes our energies fluctuate throughout the day, and every day we feel different. Maybe today I feel like chanting, so I chant. Tomorrow I feel like I want to do a guided meditation, and maybe I want to do that for 3 days. Then maybe in the evening I feel like I want to connect with my body, I want to walk. So being flexible and having a lot of tools for ourselves really will help in the daily practice, because the daily practice is not just the meditation. If we only feel calm and peaceful during the meditation, then what's the point, right? After we exit, oh, we are back to square one. We are again anxious, chaotic, blah, blah, blah. So that's not what we want. The whole purpose we want is we want to anchor in that peaceful energies through all these meditative activities, not just during the session, but as we work on it consistently, it flows outside of the session and have positive spillovers for us throughout the day, the whole morning, the whole afternoon, the whole evening. So things like that. And then I find it very useful also is that setting a reminder on the phone every 2 hours, just how am I feeling now? Because as we work, sometimes like the work becomes very chaotic, like drown in a lot of activity, and then we lose ourselves. So having this reminder on the phone every 2 hours will help us. Like then when the reminder sounds off, then we look at the phone, oh, how am I feeling now? It kind of takes our attention away from the work at that brief moment, go back to our own body, and then just checking in with the body. How does my body feel? How does my emotions feel? How does my mind feel? Quick check-in with ourselves, and just, bringing more of ourselves back to us. And also in this, the difficulty with having being in alignment is also, I realize that we are also busy, right? Actually, for you to be able to attend this event live, it requires so much devotion and commitment on your part, because this is a precious weekend. There's so many activities, that we can possibly do. Time away from work, we could spend with our family, we could do this and that. And then we get caught up with everybody else's lives, meeting up with this, meeting up, doing this and that for everyone else.
Yep.
But being in alignment, right, also means really devoting time for ourselves for this practice. Even if we have a family, even if we have to care for our family, loved ones, pets, friends, whatever, we still need to really devote like quiet pockets of time for ourselves. Because energetically, if we don't really care for ourselves, what happens is that energetically we see it as misalignment. That means our chakras are not really aligned, like some big, some small. And then our auric fields become, there's a lot of holes everywhere, or we have a lot of people's energies hanging all around us. So that's what happens energetically. Reality, how do we feel? We feel very like cluttered, we feel very chaotic.
Yeah.
So really, the point is that when we are not in a good space ourselves, there's no way we can really care for others. So that's why it's so important. And then just another point I want to add, right, is that decluttering of the body, the space, and the emotions. So for example, if we have a daily practice we're trying to create, right? Meditation, 30 minutes every day. Okay, that's checked off. We try our best to slow down, blah, 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 done. Why is it we still feel very chaotic? The next step is to examine, can we create more space in our lives for the good energies to flow in? Because sometimes we don't realize that we are already so packed. There's no way for the good energies to come in. The bad energies have to go first, if it makes sense. So for example, what do we mean by decluttered body, space, and mind? Let's take it point by point. So decluttered body, it means slowing down when we are eating, and then checking in with how the food feels in our body. So this is very individualized. We will tend to notice, right? Because on the outside, we are very influenced by the commercials, the advertisements, other people's opinions. Oh, this is very nice. We should eat more of this, and then we eat so fast, we get desensitized. It might be difficult for us to feel into our body. But feeling into our body is important because our body will tell us, Asha, I don't like milk. Stop drinking so much milk because I have a problem digesting it. I feel so bloated after that. Stop drinking it. But if I am desensitized from my body, I'll just keep drinking. I don't really get it. Or maybe what happened early in my healing journey was that, Asha, can you stop taking red meat? I cannot process the red meat because I get all this inflammation and this pain everywhere. Can you feel it yourself? Yeah, I didn't know, until it was so unbearable. So decluttering the body, it starts with slowing down when eating, feeling into how the food feels in our body. Then we can make very conscious choices for ourselves. Okay, my body doesn't seem to like so much dairy. Okay, maybe the red meat I can cut down, things like that. Or maybe, I shouldn't be drinking so much soup because I realized that the soup together with the meal, my body just feels off, things like that. So then we also talk about decluttering the space, the virtual space and the physical space. So what happens is that the home that we live in, the workplace that we hang out in, is where we spend most of the bulk of our day. Our outer reality also influences our inner reality as much as our inner affects outer. Outer also affects inner. So for example, if the house that we stay in is so cluttered, filled with like clothes that we haven't worn in 10 years and more, and still hanging around, all the trash that we are supposed to throw but pre-loved items can't bear to throw. We spend so much money buying them, but after that regret, all hanging around in the home. Or, books from don't know since when that we've never bothered to read. All these old energies, is really time to dispose or donate them away. Because donating, maybe someone else will appreciate that pre-loved item, but for us energetically, it frees up the space. That's when literally we clear up the space and then good energies can come in. Then we sit in meditation, maybe we feel more focused. Initially, we might be sitting in somewhere that looks like a storeroom. We can't even focus. There's just so many energies of the past hanging around. And then when we clear them out, we can feel we finally can breathe. And that's when the good energies flow. Another thing is the virtual space. This one is sometimes go unnoticed, like the emails, the WhatsApp messages, the photos in our phone, the contact list. Yeah, these are things that we can look at to clear. For example, emails. Some people have like 1,000 unread emails, or like hundreds of emails of the past still in the mailbox because Google has unlimited storage, right? So we want to avoid that. We keep only things we need. We dispose, delete all those that we don't. Contact lists, we clear them up from time to time, even social media friends list, followers, as in we following others, things that we no longer resonate with, stop following. Cut all these connections out. Why? Because these are things hanging around in our auric fields. Even say photo albums, photos in the phone, with thousands and thousands of them, but do we really need all of them? For those that we treasure, maybe we save in the computer, some hard drive, the rest we can delete. So things like that, it creates more space in our own life. And then I think last is that I want to point out the decluttering of the mind. Actually ties in with the focus of today's session, truth. Really, how do we determine the truth from the falsehood? Why is it we can't determine? The reality is that we are bombarded with too much information externally. Yeah. Our phone automatically, every day there's like Google alerts, random news, and then maybe we subscribe to certain news channels. A lot, as we slow down consciously, we start to notice all these things around us as things trying to influence our mind, whether rightly or wrongly. So we kind of need to be very highly selective of the information that we tune into, because our brains are actually designed to work like a sponge. It can absorb information so well that as the information repeats itself, it becomes the implicit truth for us. So now, with COVID almost done and dusted, then we look back into the past 2 years, what really happened. And then we realize, all the propaganda that went on, all the misinformation that went on. Then we realize, at that point, how much a lot of different forces were trying to control our minds and try to influence our actions. So decluttering the mind is to be highly selective of the information we feed into as the source of truth. Always try to have a healthy dose of skepticism, and then taking time to digest it. And then another thing that's important is, as we have a daily practice, we become more sensitive of our own body. Then we are able to really feel into how our body, our emotions are feeling. So when we see all this information, if we feel the fear frequency coming up, fear, that's where we need to stop. And then really taking more time to digest or feeling into our own body, because our own body can then gently guide us to the truth. Say, for example, back to the COVID incident. At that point in time, looking back, when misinformation were being spread by different forces, a lot of us felt fear within us, and that's why we made the choices we did. Okay, so then fear becomes a tool used to control us. And then fear becomes a veil over our eyes to become victims of misinformation. So now taking this into context, really, as we build a daily practice feel into our bodies, one key takeaway is that whenever we feel fear arising within us, don't make that decision at that point in time. For example, when we feel anger, when we read a colleague's email, don't reply to that email. When things like that come up, take the time to really digest and then feel into our emotions, understand ourselves a little better. Because before we take any action, so that will then give us that little space that we have to then make a better decision for ourselves. So today, actually, just to sum it up for all that we're sharing so far, all we are trying to share is that when we talk about inner outer alignment, is when these things happen, good things flow to us. We are then able to be in a peaceful state, with more clarity, with more wisdom, that we can make better choices for ourselves. We can slowly determine truths from falsehoods by simply feeling into our body and then taking the time, taking the space to process all this. Okay? And then there's also that component of what does inner outer alignment mean. The focus is always on the inner alignment first, because then the inner world will then shape the outer reality. And then inner world, we get into the inner balance. Then there's two parts to that. First, we focus on consciously slowing down and then checking into our body, mind, and emotions. And then the second part is to really learn to declutter our body, our space, the physical and virtual space, and our mind. Because all these things then, when they work in tandem, the decluttering will create more space, throw out what no longer serves us. Then consciously slowing down is really to help us to anchor in all those good energies. So of course, I can say, all this, but what is really needed is action on our part. So it's only when we experience it ourselves, we try to build this daily practice for ourselves, that we can really see magical effects flow into our lives. And I really hope that that will be the norm for us going forward. Being in alignment, having all these good things come to us, having the clarity of mind to know, say, your soul's purpose, instead of going to everybody else for answers. So I hope that helps. Okay, for everyone who's listening to the replay, now it's meditation time, your personal me time. So gently taking your energies to yourself, taking a couple of deep breaths, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth for the first few breaths. As we breathe in, intend to breathe in the light from the Akashic Records, the higher and purer frequencies, into all cells of your body. As you breathe out, intend to release all dense energies and emotions weighing you down, releasing other people's expectations, thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. Breathing in light, breathing out density. Staying here for a couple of breaths. I call upon the four great archangels, Archangel Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel, to stand on four corners of each participant's space, an energetic space we're holding the session, to hold, ground, protect the space. Also invite in each participant's divine presence. That means your higher self and oversoul, your angelic team, galactic team, Archangel Metatron, and all divine beings of the highest light and resonance who would like to support you for this session to join us now. And we feel each participant's team of light beings surrounding them in a circle of oneness and light, gently infusing their higher energies into their beloved child. Breathe and receive. And as we breathe in these energies, we see the central pillar of light forming and covering us. The pillar of light, that huge beam of bright yellow or white light that covers our entire being, and extending from the soles of our feet into the heart of Mother Earth. See that beam of light going deep into Mother Earth. And with each breath we take, the pillar of light brightens and strengthens around us. And from the crowns of our head, the pillar of light extends into the cosmos above. Connecting with the central sun. Feeling into our own physical body as we breathe. And we call upon the energies of stillness in the Akashic records to flow into our physical body now. Slowing everything down. The stillness energies flows into our minds, calming down our busy and chaotic mind. Balancing both hemispheres of the brain. Flowing into our hearts, calming down our anxious heart. sending love to all hidden pockets, chambers, and corners of our sacred heart. For the stillness energies to flow down our spine, flushing each vertebrae of our spine. Facilitating a release of stagnant energies in our spine. And for the stillness energies to flow into our stomach and intestines, where we store a lot of fear and stress. And to our wombs, or the reproductive region of our body. And as the stillness energies dance around our physical body, we allow it to flow to where it needs healing. It needs more stillness. And the brain doesn't need to process or understand. The energies are intelligent. They flow where it's needed. And today we invite and invoke Archangel Metatron to be with us for this session, to experience his healing energies in our bodies. As Archangel Metatron stands in front of each participant now, and he projects his divine light to each participant. And in some participants, we see a Metatron cube that forms. And Archangel Metatron now infuses his energies to each participant now, starting with the physical body. Keep an open heart and mind to receive. He starts with the head region, sending his healing energies to the hip. Repairing the damaged nerves, rebalancing the brain. Sending healing to the eyes, nose, ears, teeth and jaws as well. And then allowing his healing energies to flow to the neck, the throat, unblocking the throat chakras, allowing each of us to speak freely and receive and bask in divine truth. And as we receive the Archangel Metatron's healing energies, our divine friends surround us, removing and freeing away discordant cords that no longer serve, plugged into various chakras and energy bodies of our being. We swiftly remove and allow the healing energies to flow in. And the healing energies now flow to the chest, the heart region. Bring up the discordant emotions and energies suppressed and stored in this area. The stress, anxiety, tension, other people's energies. Also sending healing to our energetic and physical hearts and lungs. And at the same time, Archangel Metatron sends the healing energy to brush our shoulder blades, where we take on other people's pain and energies and stress. Bring us up from other people's expectations and baggage. Allowing the healing energies to flow into both arms, the elbows, the wrists, and the fingers. Releasing and reducing the tension stored there, the stress. And as we slow down, we can feel sometimes the gentle pulsing in these bodies that are receiving the energies. That is ourselves vibrating in recognition of the higher, purer energies. And receiving and nourishing in all this divine light. As Archangel Metatron now sends his healing energies to our tummies, our stomach, our intestines, and our esophagus, the throat. Clearing out some toxins there for some of us. The harmful bacteria in the gut, the stomach. And the stomach, he reminds, becomes a fertile area for diseases to breed because of the things we consume that are not in alignment to our bodies. Many of us with desensitized bodies, we either overconsume or consume the food that is not really right for us, thereby promoting all this growth of harmful bacteria in the gut. And he sends his beam of light through to the stomach, intestines. As it flows into numerous folds in our intestines. And then allowing the divine light to flow into our kidneys and our liver, restoring the balance in these organs. The liver being a fertile place to store anger, hatred, and resentment. The kidneys a fertile place to store fear and stress and anxiety. Dislodging these emotions as much and as far as possible in this session. And as these organs receive the healing light, they are gently reprogrammed to operate to the highest good of the recipient. And allowing the healing light to now cascade down to our hips, our buttocks, our thighs and legs. Flushing out toxins and whatever no longer serves. And as the healing light is sent to these parts of the body, we feel our central pillar of light expanding as more light from the central sun continues to flow down and expand our consciousness, expand our light around us, in us. And it's in this expanded space that we can feel our infinite potential and reconnection to Source, Universe, or God, where we came from. That we are powerful, divine beings, not just mere earthly beings trapped in our physical bodies and the life and death cycles. We are much more than that, beyond what our minds can imagine. Feel our expanded consciousness and connectedness into all that surrounds us in this universe. Our connection to our divine friends. And we invite Archangel Metatron to send his healing energies to our blood, to our cells, flushing out the toxins in the blood, nourishing our cells in divine light to support its growth and regeneration as needed. And in each of our feet, we have this Metatron cube at our feet that anchors in the energies even deeper for us. We might feel little pulsing or tingling at the soles of our feet. That is just our feet chakras opening up and also connecting to that huge beam of light, anchoring in these higher energies. And we invite Archangel Metatron to infuse his energies to our auric fields as well. Beyond our physical body is the mental, emotional, spiritual bodies. All other layers of our auric field, filling it with divine light. Recalibrating each participant's energy bodies. And I see the shine restored to the otherwise dull glow in some of our auric fields. Restoring the vitality in us, allowing us to reclaim our power and sovereignty over our bodies. And these energies are also spiraling counterclockwise, releasing all the dense and discordant energies of others of the past hanging around in our auric fields. And whenever we feel density coming up and want to facilitate a deeper release, you can simply exhale through the mouth to support a faster release. And we see so many density being dislodged from the auric fields. And as the density dislodges, more space is created to allow these higher energies to flow in and take up the space left behind, restoring the auric fields to its original glow and splendor. Patching all holes, rips and tears in the auric fields. And Archangel Metatron goes around each of us. And as he works on our auric fields, it looks like he's kind of sprinkling magic dust on us, blessing us as well. And as we draw in these good energies, spinning clockwise, these good energies flowing into our auric fields. And we also gently call upon our divine presence to facilitate a callback and return of our personal power, energy, and soul parts that are left behind or taken away or stuck in time and space across all lifetimes, time and space, dimensions and reality, gently returning to us. Just taking some time to feel into our own bodies, how our hearts feel right now, our mind, our state of emotions. And we thank Archangel Metatron and our divine team and friends for their kind assistance. As they bow and step back. Now gently taking our energies and consciousness back to the space where we started the meditation, visualizing all parts of the space. Gently drawing the consciousness fully back to our physical body. Taking time to feel into all parts of our body, our soles of feet, our legs, our lower back, middle back, upper back, stomach, chest, shoulders, arms, and hips. Anytime you feel ready, gently take in 3 deep breaths, slowly and mindfully, before we open our eyes.